Gentlemen, we have introduced a new segment here on the show. It's not really new. We've done it a couple times now. Regardless, we call it, well, I'll just play the clip and let you know what it's being called. We are talking around the water cooler, and this is an interesting one because I had a tweet go mini viral on X, and it sparked a lot of debate. There was a lot of comments. There was a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to open it up to us three who are all Cleveland Guardians fans, all similar mindseted people, and ask, is this Wing G logo overhated, or is the hate of it forced, as I said in my tweet? I open the floor.
John, go ahead.
So in my mind, we're all brand guys. We've talked about our marketing experience. We have to separate the questions. People hating on them not being the Indians anymore, no matter what they're called, and hating the name Guardians isn't the same as does the logo stink. Does the logo stink? I don't love it. When they came out with it, I thought they did a decent job given the time that they had. I will say this. I think the Guardians have the second or third best uniforms top to bottom in the majors. The blue is nice. The red is absolute fire. White pants, gray pants, the homes and aways, like red, white, and blue is so classic. I think they actually did a wonderful job with the uniform overall.
Behind
that said, who? What'd you say?
Just real quick, behind who?
LA Dodgers. The all-white LA Dodgers is as good as it gets in my mind. And then because it's so similar, Kansas City Royals, especially with the gold mixes in, for me are really, really sharp. After that, maybe after the Royals, I'll put the Guardians at 2 or 3.
The pinstripes of New York.
No,
I hate pinstripes. And it's not a Yankee thing.
Worst logo, worst brand in basable.
Come on.
They got a dope logo.
An insane brand, but
I just don't like pinstripes. But no, I just think it's like the jerseys and the look and the feel, the main block C with the kind of waistline pinched in. I think everything looks really good. And I see that patch on the sleeve or see it pop up at the bottom of the screen, and it's like kind of goofy. I don't think it's a lot to get worked up over because it's not like it's a NFL logo where it's on both sides of the helmet and you can't get away from it. They don't even put it on the hat very often, but yes, could they have done a better job with all that the Guardian actually means to Cleveland with better than a baseball smashed between a flying G's? I think they probably could have done a little bit better with that.
Erik, I want to hear what you have to say. I'm withholding my info till the very end.
Listen, when they first introduced it, I hated it. I thought it looked like something out of Major League the movie or for a minor league team.
I've seen that movie.
Right. It looked Jobu isn't in the Bible either. But it looked terrible to me. And as time has gone on, it's really started to grow on me. I know it's silly, but first of all, it's a secondary logo. So exactly like John was saying, this isn't splattered everywhere. Do I think that their tertiary logo, the Guardian itself in a circle that they very occasionally pull out, is better? Probably. But that said, I think the challenge here is not the logo itself. It's that you're going against the iconography of the past and the Indians and Chief Wahoo, which, like it or not, has a hold in the nostalgia part of our brains. I think that, listen, the Chief is gone. We need to get over it. Half the arguments on Noah's Twitter were bring back the Chief. Like, it's not happening. Let's move on. But that said, I think it's been a struggle to adapt to these logos for the simple fact that they are unfamiliar and they're new. If in 20 years we're still using that winged Guardian logo, it's not the worst thing in the world. I don't think it's that bad, honestly.
So, Erik, I think you hit the nail right on the head for me in terms of my take. I didn't hate it when it came out, especially when they broke it down with the wings on the G being for like the wings on the helmet for the Guardian. I don't like that it's a G instead of a C. I like when it's the city represented more than the actual team name. But again, it's a secondary logo. It's like a word mark of sorts. You know what I mean? It's like having a Brown's dog almost, or even Brownie the elf If you're going to compare it to a brand that's most popular in the city of Cleveland, whether you like it or not, Tim Lyons in the comments did say worst logo in brand Cleveland Browns.
It's pretty bad. He's not
To
wrong.
me, this logo is overhated for all the reasons you said, whether it be people wanting Chief Wahoo back or, I don't like that. It's some of the stuff that we've said, the G, or one of the popular takes was it looks like it was made in Microsoft Paint in the 90s and with all the 3D and stuff. I just think it's overhated. I think it has good ties to the city. And that's the long and short of it, really. I just think it's an overhated logo. I don't think it's my favorite. My favorite is the Guardian that you were talking about, the City Connect jersey, actually. That's their main logo that they're using.
Yeah.
They've been sprinkling it more and more into the brand of the Cleveland Guardians this season because of the heightened popularity of that logo. But overall, I just think it's overhated, and the main reason of it being the Chief Wahoo bring back the Indians debate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
No,
I think we've touched on it.
Go ahead, E.
I was just going to say, I think we've touched on it a little before, but part of the challenge and what they did is they kept so much similar too. Guardian script on top of the scoreboard is the same with a few different first letters. The colors are the same. I'm not saying they should have rebranded. They're probably the best colors in baseball or that you can use, period. But they struggled to break away from that older branding because they essentially piggybacked on it, but now it's a new name and new feel, and it feels just a little bit off. So it almost sits in that uncanny valley at times where it's not the Indians, but sometimes you still call them the Tribe. I think that stuff goes away with time, but that's been their struggle, in my opinion.
I think part of it too that makes this whole debate interesting is it's the logo out of all the logos that they brought out with the new Guardians rebrand that didn't have similarities to the original Cleveland Indians branding, whether it be when they had Wahoo or when they started using the Block C as their main logo and moving away from Wahoo. You mentioned the Guardian script matching the Indian script. The C is very similar to the Block C. It's just pointed a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a reason why brands.
Piece of this, though. I got to jump in there real quick. The similarity in the logo is actually there. I don't know if you saw this when it came out, but if you take the Guardian with that funky little tail and rotate it about 90 degrees, the silhouette is very similar to Chief Wahoo. Have you guys seen any of that stuff? It's
no.
Pop it, Eric. I wanted to hear what you have to say, but no, if you can, pop that back up and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Are you? Oh, yeah. When they flip it, hold on. Let me pull. Oh, I don't have it anymore. But
That's
yes,
all right.
I know what you're talking about when they turn the logo and it looks like Chief Wahoo upside down or whatever like that.
Sideways. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Let me see if I can pull it for you guys real quick. One more time.
What I was going to say is that there's a reason why when, we make fun of brands that do this, but when, Post Cereal changes their logo and it's just a very small change to make it flatter or something like that. There's a reason, though, that they're sticking with their branding and not making these big overall changes or changes in color, etc., because it would be too much and they have a lot wrapped up in that brand. So you're right, Noah, in that it's the only kind of icon that is super different until that tertiary logo came out. And it's just hard sometimes. It's just hard to see it because it's so new. But I do want to see the...
This is the comparison left and right, John, if you want to walk through it.
Yeah, so if you take the Chief Wahoo that's on the right and rotate it counterclockwise about 90 degrees, a little less, it's got the same profile as the Guardians logo. I actually saw something where they just flipped the G sideways. They're like, the Chief isn't really dead. They just hit it in plain sight, and I was dying because it is very similar when you look at the profile, even though the drawing on it is different.
Anyway,
I will
gentlemen.
say one last thought on that because you got so much negativity about how we're not the Indians and Chief Wahoo in particular. I think we've talked about it before, but make no mistake, Cleveland, as nostalgic as I am, and I still own things with Chief Wahoo on it, I don't wear it out for the fact that it is racist as shit. And there was a graphic, I don't want to mince words here. There's a graphic designer years ago that made other logos similar to Chief Wahoo. They did I think it was the Brooklyn Jews. They did the San Francisco Chinamen, and they made the something blacks. They made very similarly. They made, or Negroes maybe. They made something very similarly logo wise, where it was this caricature character essentially as the logo. And when you see it outside of that Native American Chief Wahoo that we had, it is racist as hell, and so is the Chief. So I just wish we'd move on and get behind our team a little more. Those people that say, you know, I'll never go to a game again, like, shut the fuck up. It's time to get over it.
It also doesn't matter when you reference those people, because the attendance has been up year over year since the name change, with the popularity of baseball coming back in general. So,
and they're full of shit, because I know people personally that said, I will not support this team. I have a new team. And as soon as we're doing well, they're back. So come on, don't be a hypocrite either.
100%.